what's going to happen in the future after this to prevent this from happening again, you know? And the answer is you can't prevent it. You can only endure it.
Hey everyone, just made it to eastern Pennsylvania. I'm in a town called Tunkhannock, and I'm here at Weis Supermarket. And at this particular supermarket, an unfortunate tragedy happened. 3 people were murdered inside the store by one of their fellow co-workers. So we're gonna get into the whole story, walk around the store, probably show you guys more of the outside than the inside, considering most places don't really like it when you film inside. So I'll at least walk around the outside, tell you guys more of this story. So this shooting happened on June 8th, 2017, and it happened around 12:57 a.m. The perpetrator, his name was Randy Stair. He was 24 years old, and again, he was a worker here at Weis Markets. So Randy Stair arrived at his late night shift here, and during closing time at around 11 p.m., Randy went to the back of the store and blocked one of the emergency exits. He then continued with his shift. At about 12:10 a.m., he sent out links to many different files, including his detailed plans via his Twitter account. And these files were labeled his journal, suicide tapes, and digital set. Randy then went back to the other side of the store and blocked the remaining exits. He then pulled out 2 pistol grip pump shotguns that he had concealed in a duffel bag, and he walked around the store and shot and killed 3 of his fellow employees. He shot and killed Victoria Brong, who was 25. She was the assistant manager. He killed Brian Hayes, who was 47. Brian was a United States Navy veteran. And then he also killed Terry Sterling, who was 63. Now, what's a little creepy is the fact that he approached a 4th employee named Kristen Newell. She had not heard the shooting as she was listening to music on her headphones. You can see on the surveillance footage, it shows Randy standing behind her while she's stocking shelves. He has his gun in his hand, and he just stares at her for about 5 or 6 seconds. He doesn't pull the trigger, he just stands there and watches her. Now, he proceeded to fire many times at different items in the store, just like shooting randomly. At this time though, of course, Kristen finally heard what was going on, and she got one of the barricades out that was wedged in between a door, and she was able to escape. She of course ran outside and she called 911. And about at the same time that Kristen was calling 911, Randy had put the shotgun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, killing himself there in the store. Now, a total of 59 shots had been fired in total. Now, a little bit more background on Randy. It says that he went by the name Andrew Blaze, and he had worked here at Weis Markets for 7 years. Now, it says that he had kept many different detailed videos, journals, again, all of his Twitter accounts, etc. And he expressed many different times his willingness to kill himself, and addressing some of his own personal tragedies and misfortunes, including gender identity crisis, as he called it. He believed that these murders would allow him to cross over to an animated world that he created. Randy also showcased his fascination with other shootings, including Columbine High School. Now, interesting enough, Randy had his own YouTube channel called Pioneers Productions, and he uploaded many different sketches and videos. The evening before the shooting, he uploaded a video titled Westboro High Massacre, and essentially that video is like an animated video of a school shooting, and where he is one of the animated characters in the show. It says that he managed 9 different Twitter accounts, and each one of them had a different kind of reason why he had them, but all of them essentially led to him discussing his willingness to kill himself, etc. Now, I walked around this whole store, and unless I didn't look hard enough, I didn't see any kind of plaque or memorial or anything that showcased a tribute to the 3 people who died in this massacre. Now, again, I'm not saying that they have to put something up in memory of them, but I feel like it's nice whenever I see that a place, like, you know, something bad happens at a place, and so it's cool to see some places put up like a little memorial or something, at least just to dedicate in memory of those who passed away. Again, just a very, very sad story. It's just unfortunate that Randy took out his, like I said, his anger or frustration with his own self and his own identity and what he was going through, his depression, etc. It's like he just took that out on 3 innocent people that, again, he worked with. I don't know if he worked with all of them for his 7 years that he worked here at this store, but I'm sure he worked with most of them for a good length of time, potentially all 7 years he worked here. And so, I mean, who knows? I don't know what their relationship was. I don't know if they got along together. I don't know if they consider themselves friends with Randy. But I'm sure they obviously were not expecting this to happen at all, ever. Anyway, rest in peace to all 3 of the victims. 2 of the victims were cremated, so I can't visit any graves of them. There's only 1 of the victims, I believe the older gentleman who was 63, but his grave is like 50 minutes away. Again, I'm heading the opposite direction, so I probably can't get over there.
It was a bummer. It was a huge letdown. Like, I thought it would have been amazing if I can get in there and, you know, set up propane tanks and explode them all over the place and everything. And, you know, it would have been great, but it's not going to happen. So the alternative to that is gather a bunch of the lighter fluid and mini propane canisters that unfortunately didn't really do anything when I shot at it. It's just a poof, like a big plume of smoke in the air. But yeah, gather all those together in a shopping cart with all the lighter fluids there. That's possible. That's probably what's going to have to end up happening, because I'm not going to be able to get in that propane cage no matter how hard I try. So, one big change that's happened is I've been intending on doing it before break now. Mainly because that time slot is so tight. Between 1 and 1:45, it is virtually impossible to block all the exits and everything and then have nobody see it. You know, it's Wednesday nights are the smallest orders we have, and last night was Wednesday, and it was a puny order. It was really small. There wasn't much of anything in terms of substantial size pallets and everything, so unfortunately that might be what ends up happening on the 7th. But the thing is, aisle 1 is where Brian always is, and that's the vegetable aisle, the, you know, microwavable meals and all that, and generally it takes like an hour or more to do, usually. Last night I probably took him like a half hour for all I know. I didn't pay attention, but there wasn't a lot for it, and the biggest problem with that is he would have to go into the back room and get rid of his cardboard and plastic for the next aisle. Well, if he goes into the back room, he's going to see all the pallets I have lined up. So you can't risk that, you know? And it just got me to thinking, it's like, well, great. Because Victoria and Kristen, I found out now, that's most likely their lunch hour, because they've been in the back room for quite a while, between 1 and like 1:30. So that's their lunch hour. They work like 8 to 3 in the morning. So you figure 1 o'clock, that's a lunch hour. So I was like, fuck, because it was 1:35. They were in the back room still, and that's when I intended on doing it. That was my initial plan. So that got me to think, it's like, okay, great. Maybe I got to do it sooner now, which blows in a way, because then I have like no time to like preamp myself for it. I just got to do it. So this is what I came up with. 12:10 is usually when we're pushing stuff out. We're not really ever in the back room much later than that. Maybe 12:20 at the latest. But on a Wednesday, no way. Monday and Fridays are the bigger orders. Wednesday is not that big at all. But anyways, 12:15 is when we're pushing all the stuff out on carts and everything. And Brian disappears for like 5 to 10 minutes, and I don't know where he goes. Either he goes to the fucking shitter every night, or he's on the back manager's office computer or something, which I didn't ask. I should, like, that way I know where he is. But that got me to thinking. I got like 10 free minutes there. That's when I'm going to send out all the emails. So like 12:20, 12:15, I'm going to send all the emails out on my phone. So they're taken care of and out of the way. He'll come out onto the floor, go on aisle 1 at like 12:20 or, whenever. And that's my go time. That's when I'm going to go to the back room and start blocking the exits with pallets.